Hello to everybody. Happy Friday. So welcome here. You're so welcome to this space. It's always lovely to have you with us on a Friday night. There's been so many Friday nights now throughout the whole of lockdown. Some amazing speakers and spiritual people sharing their gifts with you on a Friday evening inside the sacred space that we're creating online. And this evening, it's my absolute pleasure to welcome the really lovely Hilary Stanley to you. How are you doing, Hilary?
I'm really well, thank you. Yes, thanks, Ashley, and hello to everybody who listens into your show. It's really nice to be here. This was a bit of a sudden surprise, but yeah, lovely to do it. So thank you for the invite.
You're more than welcome. A joyful coincidence. One of those amazing coincidences, and that's how we're going to leave it there. So, hello to everyone that's watching. Hello to lovely Pearl. Hello to everyone at home. Hello to you if you're watching on catch up. Can't forget the wonders of technology, that if you cannot be with us live at 6 o'clock, then you have the ability to watch on catch up, which is just one of the blessings of being able to broadcast this so that you never miss anything. So thank you if you are watching on catch up. Hello to the lovely Tony Goswell. It's always lovely to have you with us. To the lovely Lorna Gray. Hello, Sue. Lovely Sue Townsend is with us as well. And everybody who's here watching online. So please do drop your name and where you're from. It's always amazing to see the variety of people who are watching this from all over the world. It's always lovely to see that. So thank you. So before I introduce Hilary, if you have any questions, this evening is the time, friends, to put your questions to Hilary. There are so many subjects that this wonderful lady does workshops and one-to-ones and readings and talks and lectures and writes books on many different subjects. So this is going to be a very, very fruitful and rich evening that we've got together. So do put your questions about anything to do with violet flame, various different healing modalities, and my own personal favourite love, anything to do with that wonderful Mary energy, Mother Mary, Mary Magdalene, which is something that I'm really hopeful we're going to talk about this evening, Hilary. So Hilary, welcome. Would you mind introducing yourself to everyone that's watching who may not know who you are and come across your work?
Gosh, where do I start? I've been doing this for a very long time now. I could see and hear spirit as a child, and then you know what it's like, life gets in the way and you do other things. It started again, I suppose I was in my early 30s on my own with 2 young children, and it just grew and grew, and memories started coming back. So I found very good teachers here in the physical realm and in the spirit realm, who've guided me on my journey ever since. So we're talking, you know, good sort of 30 odd years ago, 35 years ago. So it's just built and built. I started by just reading the tarot cards. That was all I did. And then gradually built up and added to it. Reiki was like lift off. That gave me the wings. And then everything just added to it. I've got insatiable curiosity for everything. And everything energy-wise, the universe, how things work. So the more questions I ask, the more I find out, and then the more I realize I don't know. So it's just never ending. So it's that really. It's just I love finding things out. So I always say, if you ask me a question, if I don't know the answer, I'll ask. That's all we can do, isn't it? But it's it's my life. It's my life.
Absolutely, and it really feels like a life work. And I suppose people will, anyone that has come from Hilary's page, hello everyone that's joined from Hilary's page, for your diehard fans of your work, you've introduced the violet flame into their world. For anyone that isn't aware, would you be able to give us an overview of what the violet flame energy is and where it originates and how it can transform?
Yes, happy to. It's just a frequency of light, and all light vibrates at different rates, different speeds. So it can be translated now like sound waves. So a red color would vibrate at a very slow, deep bass note and a slow rhythm, and violet is very high and very fast. So it's just a faster frequency of light, because it's the edge of our rainbow. Beyond that can't see light. So by tuning into that, where things change, where we change, it's our crown chakra color. So where we stop being physical energy and we become spiritual energy. So by tapping into that frequency of light, we can start to create change. We can start moving into realms and dimensions and states of being that are beyond what we feel in the physical. So that's why it's used. That's why we use it for change, because it's on that stage of frequency. It's been ancient and universal. It was used very much in Lemurian times, which predates Atlantis. And it was used then to bring pure spiritual energy through to incarnate in physical reality. So it's that sort of energy that helps you to transform, transmute. A flame is just very intense light. I'm going to talk people through, if that's okay, actually into a meditation so that they can feel that vibration. We all
Absolutely.
carry that vibration of light. So every one of you, you've got violet light within you. So I just teach people how to tap into that and how to use it. And then that's how we can then start to create changes. So yeah, it's lovely. It's been my passion for years. And I do bang onto it a lot. So if any of you are listening who do know me, you've heard this dozens of times. But always seem to be willing to listen again.
Yeah, and it's so welcome, and it's really interesting talking to you about it. But it's something that even though you return back to it and you say, oh yeah, I remember that. I remember being in meditation. I remember being one of your workshops. I remember hearing about it, reading about it, how every time you re-encounter it stirs something within the soul to say, I'm being drawn to this because I'm going through transformation or it's needed. Yeah,
yes,
amazing.
Definitely. We don't ever stop changing, do we? So it's appropriate always, and it will come into your life and it will go, and at different times you'll change and adapt, but it's always there and it's always part of you. So I think that's why I love it. It's something I don't give it to people or attune them to it, because it's already there within them. So yeah, it's a lovely energy to work with. And then we've got different archangels and ascended masters who also vibrate at that speed, at that frequency. So we can ask for their help as well. And the more you do, the more you use it, the more you know about it, the stronger it gets. Just like anything we use, any gift or talent, it just gets stronger and stronger.
Wonderful.
Yeah, I hope you'll enjoy it.
My goodness. Okay, so yes, we do love a practical. Everything about Friday, a Friday evening from 6 to 7 is about giving us tools for our toolbox, isn't it? Because we can't be together. I know we were talking about this before we came on. We can't be together. We can't physically be in each other's energy, but actually we're going to do our very best to create some sacred space. And then Hilary has very kindly offered to lead us in a violet flame meditation, a moment in time. So would you like to do that now? Shall we do it now? Are you ready to do it? Yeah.
If you're happy to, if it works, actually, so fingers crossed. I've got the CD on that does talk, because that's then got the music that goes with it. So if you're happy for me to give it a go, if it doesn't work or if people can't hear it, then I'll stop that and I'll just talk you through it.
Yeah, just use your voice. That might. Yeah.
It's nice to hear the music that goes with it. This was done by Neil H for me. I don't know if you're familiar with Neil. He does absolutely fabulous meditation music. So I'm going to keep my fingers crossed and hope that you'll all be able to hear this.
Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. So if you want to make yourself comfortable at home, Hilary will lead us through. Oh, you're sideways up. There we go. The wonders of technology. So I'm going to disappear off the screen. I'm going to leave you in Hilary's very capable hands, and enjoy. Okay.
Just let me know if you can't hear this, or if it's not clear enough. But if it is, then just sit comfortably. Just allow your eyes to close and enjoy this. Take a few deep breaths, and as you breathe out, feel your physical body relax. Let your muscles soften and your limbs become heavy. Feel the weight of your hands in your lap and your own weight sinking into the seat. Take your attention down to the soles of your feet and imagine strong white roots growing from them, pushing down through the floor of the room. See them in your mind's eye, twisting around each other like a piece of rope. They blend and merge into one strong taproot as it pushes down through the rubble and foundations of the building. See your Earth Star chakra, a bright circle of light spinning clockwise at the surface of the Earth. You can speed it up, widen its circle, or slow it down until it is just the right speed and size for you. As it settles, your root drops down through its center and enters the earth. With every breath out, feel your root sinking down through the soft layers of rock, through limestone and clay. Your root drops down through underground water. It twists and turns, finding its way through cracks in the harder layers of rock. It drops down through caves and caverns deep within the earth, and passes through layers of minerals and crystals. Your root is descending deeper and deeper, pulled by the magnetic energy of the iron core. Down through the heat and fire of the liquefied rock and metal, it attaches to the cubic star of iron rock at the center of this earth. Your root is held there strongly and securely. You are connected back in time to the formation of this planet and to all others who anchor their roots there. You are part of Earth's evolution, and you are formed from the same energy frequencies of light. As you breathe in, draw the light back up through your root. Feel the strength of the iron and the loving support of Mother Earth. Let your love flow to the earth in return. Feel or see the visible spectrum of light, the colours of our rainbow, rising higher with every breath, drawing it up through your root. The rainbow of light separates into the two roots at your feet, and you draw it up into your physical body. With your in-breath, it rises up your legs into your torso, flowing across your shoulders and down your arms, and up into your head. You are filled with all the colours of light. Focus your attention on the violet frequency of light within you. See or feel it becoming brighter, outshining all the other colours. Center it at your heart chakra, building up into a concentrated pool of violet light. We ask for the multidimensional energy of the violet flame to enhance that vibration within us. Imagine a thin stream of violet light, like a laser beam, descending down through your crown chakra. Feel it pass down through the center of your head, your neck, between your collarbones, and stopping at your heart chakra, where it combines with your own violet light, becoming so intense that it sparks into a flame. Feel the violet flame flicker and grow as your heart chakra expands with violet light. The glow of the flame begins to spread out, filling your rib cage and your chest. It spreads across your shoulders, easing any tension, soothing away any stiffness in the muscles as it flows down your spine and your arms to the tips of your fingers. The energy of the violet flame builds up through your neck and into your head. Feel it flowing along your jaw, through your sinuses, the space behind your eyes, soothing your mind, easing your thoughts, and transmuting any doubts or fears. The glow of the violet flame at your heart spreads down through all the organs and structure of your body, releasing any tension through your hips, flowing down your legs. Feel the glow of violet light from the flame, easing around your knees, all the way down to your feet and the tips of your toes. Your body is filled with violet light. All blockages of energy have dissipated, and all negativity has gone. You feel clear and pure and light. As you breathe out, open your chakras at your front and at your back, releasing the light of the violet flame out into your aura. As it spreads through your aura, all negativity and energy blocks held there disappear as they are transmuted to positive energy. You can breathe in violet light and breathe out violet light, for it flows through you and surrounds you. Imagine a shiny layer of intense golden light around the outer edge of your aura, protecting and shielding your entire energy being. You are transformed into a being of violet light, part of the highest vibrational frequency of light here on earth, and the violet flame is a light at your heart. You are at one with the universe, existing in all dimensions throughout all time. You experience ultimate peace and unconditional love. Whenever you are ready, let your breath deepen. Feel the air expanding and contracting your lungs again, as your conscious mind returns your awareness to your physical presence here in the room. Feel movement again in your hands and feet. Become fully aware of your body and your surroundings, and you can open your eyes.
Well, that was just a little taster, everybody, of some of the amazing work that Hilary does. What a beautiful guided meditation that is. Is that available on your website, Hilary?
It's on YouTube. If you
Okay.
put in lighting the violet flame within, meditation by Hilary Stanley, you can have it on YouTube. I've got it on CDs with other meditations, with meditating with others of the archangels like Zadkiel and Saint Germain, and so I've got it on violet flame CDs. But it's that bit is just out there. I just, you know, if everybody can feel that, then I'm happy with that and just have it. So yeah, YouTube. When I can get my head around the technology, it will be free to download on the website.
Oh, amazing. Thank you. So many people are loving that. So lovely. Dawn Price is with us. Hello to you, Dawn, with a beautiful purple heart. Lovely to have you with us. Lorna said she feels really hot after doing it. She's kind of having the heat. She felt the heat. Amazing.
Good. Well, it's lovely. People do, we sense energy, don't we? Either by heat or cold. We sense when spirit are around. Either we get a hot flush or we feel that chill. So it's just how you recognize the energy changing. So if you feel hot or you feel cold, that's what it is. That's a lovely response.
Thank you. And don't forget, oh yeah, Linda Marie says she's got one of your CDs. It's so peaceful and meaningful. So amazing feedback. Thank you so much. Don't forget, guys, you can go back, find the meditation in full on YouTube for you to relax to, or you can go back and watch the beginning of this all over again and watch it here again a bit later on. I should imagine that's beautiful before bed as well. A really lovely state to drift off into sleep. So thank you. So Hilary, to kind of working with the violet flame, I know that's something that you do is part of your kind of holistic work, holistic healing you do. Would you be able to talk a little bit more and speak to some of the healing work that you do with the violet flame?
I do. I teach people how to use it. So with that, if you want to use that energy that you've just built up within you, just feel that spreading out to anywhere where you've got difficulty or a problem or dispute with anybody. There are all sorts of ways. It used to be that we could only repeat decrees over and over and over again, repeating 2 lines or repeating prayer. And that's kind of changed a lot now because the violet flame has grown and they want us to use it in any way. So a really good one, if you've got difficulty with somebody, we all have relationships. It doesn't have to be romantic. In fact, often they're not. But anybody, whether a partner, a sibling, brother, sister, work colleague, anybody you've got that difficulty with, if you write their name down on paper, you don't have to write any details down, but hold that piece of paper and imagine all that violet light within you going to the person that you have difficulty with. It's a really nice way. It's not a quick fix, but if you keep doing that over and over again, you'll find that things start to ease because you start to feel better because you're making a bit of effort with the situation and they respond. So I do teach people a lot how to use the violet flame, how to use that energy within them. But I use it mostly, I suppose, to help release past life things. We're very affected by what we've done in the past, who we've been, what we've experienced. So I trace since a child, I travel out of body just easily, just my energy just goes. I don't really know why, but it does. So I follow threads of light that I see from people going back into another lifetime. And then anything that they're bringing through from that lifetime that's causing them difficulty, like fears, phobias, low self-esteem is often one, all sorts of issues and things that trust, issues that we struggle with in this lifetime, I can trace back and see if it's rooted in a life before. And then I help people work with the violet flame to release that. And so you return explain what you've learnt, but you don't bring through the negativity, because the violet flame just transmutes negative energy. So wherever there's a problem, that's the solution. So it's just working that way. Yeah, it's lovely.
Gosh,
I love it's a. I find it's a real privilege that people, you know, will come and say, yes, go back and have a look in my life. And I think, oh, gosh, that's a bit of a responsibility. And I'm very grateful that people allow me to do that. I've seen some incredible things, been to wonderful places, not always on this earth, back in all sorts of times. And I feel really lucky that, you know, people allow me to do that for them. And then in return, I help show them how they can release those problems they still suffer with. So yeah, it's a lovely life. I love doing this.
Wow, what amazing work. And what I loved as I was kind of reading and learning more about this in preparation for this evening is my word of the year that keeps coming up is the word alchemy, because I just find it so appropriate. And
Yes.
what I've really enjoyed learning is actually about your work with the violet flame, that it's not to cut. This is not about cutting and removing, it's about transforming. And the word alchemy, and it was just so resonant. So would you like to talk a little bit more about Saint Germain and how that all kind of features into it, and in preparation for the age that's coming, because so much has been written about the new age coming.
Yes, it has. Saint Germain was a student or a pupil of Master Rakosi on the Atlantis. And as Atlantis was starting to sink or go into smaller and smaller islands, it didn't just go down overnight. It was a huge continent, but it was built on basalt, so it's very, very heavy rock. And that started to, as volcanoes would go up, the basalt would sink down under the Atlantic. So it was shrinking, it was getting to smaller and smaller and further spaced islands. And Master Rakosi, who was in charge of that evolution of our incarnations on that time, he asked Saint Germain to take the violet flame and keep it hidden from mankind until such times as we were ready to start working with that frequency again. So Saint Germain has had that jurisdiction, had that responsibility ever since Atlantis. At the beginning of the 20th century, he said, you know, with the two world wars, he said, I feel that the people are ready, they need this energy. So he was given dispensation to start, you know, working through people who could channel his energy through to bring back the knowledge of the violet flame to this earth. So he's the main ascended master that we tend to contact and ask for his help. He was also, one of his incarnations was as Merlin, obviously alchemist and magician and counselor to King King
Arthur.
Brain freeze. So he is very much the alchemist. We've often, nowadays, we tend to interpret this turning base metal into gold as turning our base energy into the higher vibration and higher frequency. So our higher selves, our higher morals, ethics, understanding, and our connection with spirit. So that's our personal alchemy that we're working through these lifetimes. So Saint Germain really helps with all of that and gives a very protective energy. So we work a lot with him and his symbol of the Maltese cross, which is equality. Wow. Yeah, so there's a lot to it. When I first taught a workshop, or I first ran a little workshop on the violet flame, it lasted for about 4.5 hours, and it's now 5 days. So it has just grown and grown over the years and still growing. So I've just starting to work on the higher rays of the violet light. So we go into iridescent and pearlescent and all other metallic violet and all other frequencies. So it never stops. So it'll end up as a really long course, I think.
Gosh, that is so interesting, and just the different. So would you be able to, because it's something that I'm really interested in, and I know that lovely Helen is on. Hello, lovely Helen, who is really interested, the same as me, about learning more about ascended masters. And this is
Yes.
something which there's an awful lot of people talking about it. But from your experience, from where you're coming from, could you describe what an ascended master is for anyone
Yes.
that's not aware, and what they kind of, their jurisdiction, how they help?
Yes, I'm happy to. I know it's one of those, there are a lot of these words and a lot in our sort of spiritual vocabulary, and you think, what's that? And who do you ask?
Yes.
So I'm always happy to, to offer this. Ascended Master is somebody who's had hundreds and hundreds of lives. They've learned all they wanted to learn, and they've specialized in a certain area. And then they reach the point where we talk of their ascension, where they no longer come back and have another physical life, but they choose to stay close to us. They choose to stay in the etheric realm, close to the physical plane, so that they can still offer teaching and guidance. The word master is a bit like a teacher in a good prep school or a good public school, where they're the teacher. It's another word for teacher. The ascended bit just means that they've done with their physical lives, learnt all they want to. So each of the ascended masters has a different specialist subject, just like your teachers at school. And that's what they are. They're very, very easy to work with, easy to contact, because they know what it's like to be physical. They know the trials and tribulations and the frustrations we have of being in a physical incarnation. They understand all that. So they're brilliant to ask questions and to know what's going on. And this, we so often read that we're going into the age of Aquarius. Well, it's actually started quite some time ago, but this is our new age. This is the age of Aquarius. Saint Germain and his twin flame, his female aspect, is Lady Porter, and they're the ones that preside over this age of Aquarius. But please don't think that, the term ascended master means they're so out there and wow and we can't talk to them. They're your teachers. Just ask. all the girls, if anybody's listening from any of my groups, they say they're going to carve that on my headstone. I hope they'll wait till I'm dead. But they say, did you ask? Did you ask?
So true. It's so true. Thank you so much for clarifying that. And you're absolutely right. There is so much terminology and so much jargon. And you know what? I think sometimes within a spiritual community, we can be just as guilty as every other profession or organize or kind of groups of people of introducing jargon that for people that aren't really genuinely interested, you get to the point you think, I can't ask that question now. So for somebody who's really fascinated in accessing these teachers to be able to offer us guidance and kind of reach that bit further than our own understanding, first of all, who would you recommend to start with? That's a really probably quite a trite question, but who works with people who are on this pathway of spiritual development, and how would you go about contacting them?
They all work on this path of spiritual development. So, if you want to focus on the violet flame, then ask Saint Germain. There's also Kuan Yin. She's the lovely Oriental goddess of compassion and mercy. Very, very gentle, lovely energy to work with. So if you go into a meditation where you just simply close your eyes and just let your breathing slow and open your heart to them and say, would one of you come and help me with this? You'll find that one will come who's most appropriate for you. I've always had with me, since I did my Reiki, a gentleman came, my Reiki master talked to Sue and said, you'll meet your Reiki master, your guide, your healing guide. And because I was doing Reiki, I thought I'd get somebody, you know, perhaps a bit like Dr. Yuzui, at least Japanese. So when I this man step out of the light as she described it, and I went, oh, you're Tibetan. Oh. After working with him for 2 years and he wouldn't tell me his name, I eventually discovered that he was one of the Ascended Masters, Dwell Cool. And he's been with me and become very much, he's my mentor, he's my friend in spirit. I've asked him loads and loads of questions. But that's how he first presented himself to me as my Reiki master. So I literally just asked to see and to have a guide with me who would help me. And he's explained so many things over such a long time that he's my kind of go-to. He's my first port of call. But you start connecting with one and another will come, and then another and another. I always find there's one called El Moria, often given the title El Moria Khan because he was a prince on his last incarnation. And he's the one that always pushes me out of my comfort zone. He's always the one that challenges me or asks me to do something. And I think, really, do I have to? But I know, you know, I know I can't say no. And it's just, he's there at every time when I need that nudge or that boot. So they'll come to you if they resonate with you as well. It's like picking up the phone and you're not sure what's going to be on the other end. But they know how you work. They all know how to get the best out of you and how for you to get the best out of yourself. So they're all of them, and there are hundreds of them, but they all want us to achieve self-mastery. They want us to be masters of our own lives and be responsible for our own lives. So that's what they help us to achieve. And then each person, for me, I need to know, I need to understand, I want the answers to the questions, and that's the way they work with me. Somebody who doesn't see, doesn't hear, but senses and feels things will have an ascended master or have a guide who will work with them, giving them those feelings and sensations. So they work in whichever way is best for us as individuals. So all you have to do, and I know the girls are going to laugh, is just ask.
Just ask.
And don't, you know, when so many times people say to me, but it was just my imagination. And I always say, yes, I hope so, because they're not going to access through your logical mind, because your logical mind will go, that's not real. So just trust that whatever comes into your mind, whatever you feel in your heart is absolutely right. That's what's given, because your imagination is the doorway. And you open that and it will take you into all other realms and they'll be there.
So, oh my goodness. Okay, so if you're not inspired to go and sit in the quiet and ask, and know that you will be, the telephone will be picked up by the most appropriate person, and I find that so inspiring, and everyone is loving that. And this is such an inspiring evening. This is exactly the kind of thing that fires me up. So would we be able to talk about someone who is very dear to my heart? Well, there's two lovely female ascended masters that are really, really dear to my heart. So one of them is Mary Magdalene, which is an energy I've just always had such a powerful resonance with, even since being very young. And also Mother Mary as another feminine power. Would you be able to talk a little bit about those inspirations that are so close to the earth at this moment?
They've been around very, very close because we've had this huge surge in the divine feminine, and women everywhere have felt empowered to take a stand and stand up for our truths. And they really are, behind us 100% there. Mother Mary actually came from the angelic realm. She is the twin flame of Archangel Raphael. Raphael is the archangel of healing. I always see him as sort of quite young and almost Italian looking, and always with this big grin. So he's great to work with Archangel Raphael, and Mary is his female attribute. So all archangels are androgynous, they're male and female. But because we relate to everything as separately male and female, or mostly, they recognize that we can understand them better if they present in their separate identities. So Mary is the female healer. Now, Jesus was an ascended master. He was known as Sananda. And when Sananda volunteered or was chosen to come to earth as Jesus, he brought with him Mary Magdalene, who was his twin flame, and Mother Mary from the angelic realm came to be his mother because she would have the ability to live with that and deal with that awful life, to support your son through all those struggles. So their lives from I don't know if you've heard of the Gnostic Gospels. They were Gospels not included in the Bible because one of them was written by Mary Magdalene. And in all those, one was by Thomas and James, so they were all very much around at the time. But the church would not allow, so they weren't included in the Bible. But they clearly show that Mother Mary and Mary Magdalene had known each other since Mary Magdalene was very, very young. And they were very well educated, which was unusual at the time. So the two Marys, were brought up and grew up in that era with incredible knowledge, way of what normal people had then. So they became very close, very close. Jesus used to be babysitter for Mary Magdalene, so there was always that "I'm going to marry you when you're older" kind of thing. So that was their background, and this came out from a lot of different gospels, different scrolls that have been found, and from various people channeling the information through, that they had a wonderful relationship. Mother Mary, as the herbalist and the healer, taught healing and taught Mary Magdalene. But she was, with your colouring, Ashley, she was a little bit more feisty, just a bit. And she was more interested in the mind and how the mind controls the body. So she wanted to get across the healing aspect of, it's not just physical. You take into account your emotions and your mental state. She was also very good at teaching. And when Jesus would talk in parables and talk in ways that, as Sananda, he was an ascended master and sometimes spoke a little bit above people who couldn't read and write or were just fishermen. So Mary Magdalene would interpret his teachings for them and for the children that would follow them. Because Jesus had a great following, but they didn't really understand all that he said. So Mary Magdalene was like the interpreter, and she would put it into a much easier language, keeping it real, keep it simple, explain things in a way that people can understand. And she went on teaching his words long after he'd left this earth. So beautiful energies to work with, very, very strong for all teachers, for all people who help and heal others. So they're both with us very, very much. And it's lovely. There were workshops. I know you tried to come to the one at Spirit Quest. Was that one?
No, and it's busy. I couldn't get in.
No, there were so many people, they couldn't find enough chairs for people. So to me, that, and there were a lot of men in there. So to me, that really showed the interest in these two Marys now is huge. They're really, really popular. People want to know how to heal, how to help each other, how to understand, and how to really keep it simple. Like you said, Ashley, the sort of vocabulary we use can sometimes get a little bit OTT. And I think,
yeah,
just
and that's the thing that I really took from Mary's Gospel, which actually, you're absolutely right, is about the internalized process. It's an internal thing. It's about going within. Infuriatingly, the missing bit feels like the missing part of the puzzle. When you get a certain way through the Gospel, the missing page is like the last bit. But it's interesting that they're so present on the earth at this, but also present around at the moment with so many healers, and especially with women healers and women spiritual workers. People are incarnated into the female form in this life in order to be able to reinvigorate that courage and to step forward and to keep searching, keep going within.
They do. I mean, Mary Magdalene lived a long, long time after Jesus had returned to spirit, and her strength, her courage, you know, especially as she was written about in such a bad way, and she had such a lot of judgment against her, and yet she stood her ground. She carried on. You know, it really is inspiring to think we can't give up. We just can't. It's not what we're here for. So we keep going, and with their help, we can. I've loved doing the work with both of them, and they're inspiring the men now too. You know, when we talk about the divine male, or even just men who are in touch with their feminine side, you know, it used to be a bit of a joke. We used to think, oh yeah, you know, he's a bit in touch with his feminine side. Now we really honor that. And we go, yes, that's brilliant. And I feel this is very much the pair of them, because they're, you know, they're so close with their twin flames, one from the angelic realm and one from the ascended masters. It's like we've got it all covered, you know. We are finding now that we're reuniting, we're becoming much more, much closer. I think the masculine and feminine we honor within each of us. So they are incredibly important in this day and age.
Amazing. So have you got any recommendations for things that people, that the next thing that people can do, or if they're really interested in the subject of ascended mind? You've certainly opened my eyes to a subject that I kind of had difficulty getting into the subject, and actually it's talking to you and researching ahead of this, and looking at Saint Germain as well as an amazing simplicity to teaching, an amazing simplicity. Again, that message of go within. You are your own master. Have you got any kind of recommendations, things that people can do to access that divine feminine ascended master?
A lot of it comes through meditation. A lot of it comes through intent. But also there is so much out there. There are so many books. There are so many things that you can do. It's really rely on your intuition. Ask for the best possible help at this time for you. Ask for the best possible guide to come through. Whatever you're doing, it's got to feel right in your heart. If you come across somebody, there's loads of us working on, especially on Facebook. If somebody really resonates with you and you think, I like that person, or I could ask that person, then don't ever be afraid to ask. This is going to happen.
I'm getting a theme here, Hilary.
But please do. You can always message me and ask me if you've got any questions. But there is, the only thing that any of us can do is to do what feels right for us. So think about your intent, think about what you want to do, what you want to achieve, they always say, don't they, you know, when the pupil is ready, the master appears. So scroll through all your friends and recommendations on Facebook. Feel who you feel drawn to and go with them. It's just like, you know, when we go to a psychic fair or a holistic fair, if we want a reading, and there might be sort of 9 or 10 readers there, we go to the one we're drawn to, not by what she does or he does. So not necessarily because you want a tarot reading or you want a medium, you're drawn to the person. And that still is true just all the time. You'll be drawn to the person who's right, who feels right for you. And if it doesn't feel right, just leave them to one side. There's somebody out there for everybody. And there's a way out there for everybody. So yeah, go with what's in your heart.
I love that. Thank you. Do you know what? You have such an open-hearted simplicity, which just, I know you have just legions of people that love the simplicity of how you work. So thank you so much. I'm going to put a link up after this with Hilary's website, because we've only scratched the surface, folks, of some of the things that Hilary is working with and has on offer. We haven't even got to half of it. So I'll put a link up for you to make contact with Hilary, and to give some feedback, to offer thanks, and to explore some of the wonderful meditations and other work and offerings that are available on YouTube and via her website. Thank you so much, Hilary. My goodness, so much in there. And do you know, I know we spoke about this before, but it really does feel like to bring your work to the masses, because there's such a need at this time for people to understand how to alchemize their own energy, how to transform their own energy, and also then step forward in service, in spiritual service with their own healing journey. So yeah, watch this space.
Oh no, thank you very much for having me on. Actually, it's really nice, and I do love this. You know, keep it simple. I used to have a shop in Bournemouth and a healing centre here, and a lovely dear girl worked with me, Sam Sparrow, and she always said, "Keep it real, keep it simple," and it's just, among many other things she used to say as well. But that has always been my. If I can understand it, I want other people to understand it. So, you know, it's just, yeah, that's the way I think it's got to be. So, yes, thank you very much. It's been really lovely to share this with you.
And I've learned so much. And do you know, the beautiful thing about doing this program on a Friday is that it's an opportunity for me to go and do some deeper research, and so I'm learning so much in areas just so diverse, and something that I hadn't had any awareness of really, other than in and around your work about the violet flame. And it's just blown my mind over the last couple of days, the possibilities and how I can work with it. So thank you so much. Thank you to Phil's loving it. Phil said he loves the inspired teachings. Thank you so much. And also Linda Marie, she's a massive fan of your book, Transform Your Life with the Violet Flame. Available at all good booksellers, I think, isn't it?
Oh, thank you. I've always got them here, so if anybody I'm happy to post any. I think Amazon are out of stock of it now, but I've still got some here. So yeah, you can always get in touch with me.
Lovely. Thank you so much. Thank you for everybody who has joined this evening. Whether we didn't get to questions, there was so much there, and everyone was just listening and loving the meditation. So thank you for gifting that to us, Hilary. And thank you for everyone that's joined us this evening, whether you have been watching live and taking part. And I don't know about you, but I was definitely feeling such closeness from spirit as we were talking. So thank you for that gift. And for everyone that's watching on catch up, it's really lovely to have you with us. My guest next Friday is going to be the lovely Reverend Kevin Lee, who's going to be coming talking to us about his book and all of the things he's been up to since the last time he was here. And there's also a suggestion of doing some cheeky readings as well, some quick fire readings for you, so please do join us next Friday. But for now, Hilary, thank you so much for your time
Thank you.
Your knowledge.
Always. Thank you.
Super. Thank you, Hilary, and thank you to everybody who's joined us. We will see you next Friday. See you later.
Bye. Have a good week.
Bye.